Check, baby, check 1, 2. We'll be with you shortly, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go again. Ladies and gentlemen. Tell me that you're gassed up. I'll pass you a flask full of Jack Love. At last, I'm at peace with this fast blood. Only took a crash, landing down in the trash mud to figure out why I've been so smashed up. Holy moly, lonely, only when I'm coldly zoning, cozy in my holy home, without my homie ceremonies, owning in my own, rolling through my dome, hoping that I'm only throwing stones to get you going. Maybe you could clone me, break the ache and make
Holy moly, only lonely. I'm lonely right now. Waiting for Pedro. I'll be with you in just a moment.
Maybe lay it on a plate, maybe shoot it out in space to watch it die. Either way, I ain't trying to lie. Got me open, I can feel the bad omen, lost in this moment.
Let me turn my mic on right now. I love that song. Can't even figure out all the lyrics. I don't know how Wes remembers them all. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great show called DYOR Live. Welcome to all you gents and ladies and gents from the Crypto Breakfast Club from Paid and Zach's Room of Awesomeness. Broadcast every morning from 9:30 to 11:30. Usually goes late. That's why some of you are moving over and coming in and watching us right now. Thanks for joining us anyway. Got a great show for you today. As always, we always do. We entertain you. We keep you entertained. We don't talk about that same drivel everyone else does. Blah, blah, blah. Moon, moon, moon. We bring you the real stuff and tell you it's not going to moon. It's going to go down. See the chart over there says go down. And then moon. And then moon, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, Pedro will be with us in a little bit. He's got a couple of things to do. So I am going to be doing the Bitcoin review this morning. What's going on with Bitcoin, Tom? Let's find out. The theme for the show today is pretty simple. Pretty simple here. Bitcoin waffles. Bitcoin waffles while BlackRock gobbles. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Bitcoin price has been trading in a little zone since basically since a dump on Tuesday. If you trade at higher time frames, it's been trading ever since its pump up to a new all-time high. It's been doing a little consolidation, pull out on the pull out on the chart a little bit, and you'll see some interesting things forming. But our plan was to try and figure out what it was going to do for this week, as this week prepares to do for the month. So let's get into it and see what's going on here. Let's switch up the music here, get some yeah going. All right. Let's see who's with us. Fire Chicken says, where do I buy the Bitcoin waffles and do they come with syrup? Golden butter packet. I would say that you buy the wrapped version on Pancake Swap. That's right. Then you can get some syrup and some cake along with it too. How about that? I came up with that on the fly. Humgar is here. Pump time. Oh, that was from yesterday. I was going to say it's not pump time. It's dump time today. Dumpity dump dump dump. Yesterday, Fire Chicken said, excellent show today. Yesterday, we did have a good show. It was great. It's exciting and all that. Fire Chicken, I'm glad to hear that you've got the Fiat leak thunder on your speaker, so people know when Chuck is happy. But the thunder also goes off at 24-hour lows too, which it's been going on today. So let's get to Bitcoin here and talk about it. Oh, I started messing with it yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, but I've got a new great graphics machine over here. It's kind of, I've been talking about building this app for a while. Tom's building an app for TradeWave and all that. This is kind of the front end to it. It's kind of not the front end to it. It's kind of part of it. And I realized I've been using this other software that I've been paying for to build the great graphics machine, and I'm like, wait a minute. The app is an HTML5 app anyway. I can just put it on my computer and use it. And so I tweaked the beginnings of it to be the great graphics machine, and I can just, what you can't see is my little entry box and stuff like that, in which we can pull up any cryptocurrency price on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, and I'm integrating pricing in it for futures and commodities as well too. So it's going to be really good, and it won't have, since AI helped me build it, it won't have the usual boner things in it that I had in the other one. And yes, it brings up Fire Chicken well. It does bring up Fire Chicken well. So welcome to everyone joining us. What was the plan for Bitcoin, Tom? The plan for Bitcoin, and you can see it. Let's see if we can make me bigger here without it goofing everything up. Brought my computer into the screen. The dog's around here too. Dog's back from the hospital. Was there all day yesterday. Let me tell you, that's not cheap. Well, that's like ruins a whole week's worth of day trading stuff. Although I haven't been day trading, I've been planning and learning. What we said in October was, if you recall, up the first week, it did that. We say down the second week, it's doing that right now with today's pullback. And the idea is it going to keep going to follow the plan and finish the week? This is the weekly chart. Finish the week down for a dumpity-dump. Because our plan for October was to dumpity-dump, bring it back down to the about 104 level. This isn't exactly to the areas that Pedro had drawn out on the chart, but bring it back down and allow the end of the month, instead of for the hunt for red October, the pump for green October, and finish the month starting its climb back up into new highs. That's the plan, and it's going according to plan so far, and it's October 9th. So that's good. The last time I did a monthly plan, I did it for August, and it worked out perfectly. And so I'm going to go for 2 for 2 here. Skipped September. But anyway, that's the plan so far. If you want to look at the details of the monthly and weekly plan down to divergences and all that type of stuff, head over to Crypto Lifer, who is on at 10 to 12 every day. And Sam goes over that in detail every day at a level that I could never do. And a clarity level that sometimes is tough for Pedro to do. But anyway, what the levels that Pedro's drawn in the chart kind of reflect what we're seeing go on here on the weekly chart. And so we hope this plan is going to come to fruition. So what's it going to be? Bitcoin is waffling this week. Let's bring the daily chart. That's not the daily chart. What the hell's the daily chart? No, it looks like I used it to draw something else. Wonderful, Tom. Nope. There it is. That's the hourly chart here. Anyway, we'll just use that for now. Actually, no. Let's go to the daily chart. All right, well, I have all my drawings on it here. Let's remove the drawings. Move. 21 drawings. Oh no, that's going to remove all those drawings. I don't want to remove all those drawings. All right, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to talk about it. Anyway, the daily chart here, what you can see and what I've gleaned from talking to Pedro, what I have gleaned from other teachers like Master Friend and Crypto Lifer, is that the price pumped here, and it seems to be consolidating in if you look at the chart just right, forming a flag of some sort. The problem is the volume is coming down here. When the volume comes down, that's not good. There's not enough proper order matching going on, and that becomes a problem for everything, for maintaining your price. So unless we see the volume start coming up today, and especially tomorrow, we might see more of a dump. But that's the plan for this week. That was the plan. The plan was for this to finish. The weekly open, if you remember at the beginning of the week, I talked about the weekly open here. I talked about the monthly open and the weekly open. And the price started right up from the weekly open. Boop. Last week went right up. And what Pedro always says is that if it goes up, it's going to come down. And very rarely did the candles, especially as you get in the longer time frames, not form the entire proper candle. Very rarely do they just open and go right up. It does happen, but very rarely. And so we expected it to come back down below the weekly open, which it has today. The weekly open was at 123.8. And this is the futures chart. No, this is the Binance spot chart. Doggy, what are you doing? And I lost my train of thought. Oh, and came back down under the weekly open. We're trading under that again, and likely will stay under it this week, unless we see some outsized volume later today or overnight on the Asia and London opens for Friday. Alrighty, let's check the. Do a little social media check-in here with everybody. Ellie, what is wrong? Come here. Oh, sorry everyone. Come here. The dog was in the hospital yesterday. Can't jump up into her little chair where she likes to sit. The ads I'm getting on this channel, not our channel. All right, so thanks to everyone watching. Here's Fire Chicken in the house. Thank you very much, Fire Chicken. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you sharing the show with your community and, of course, with everyone else in your sphere of influence. Got a decent crowd. We're broadcasting on Rumble today, YouTube, X, Twitch, and LinkedIn. For all of you LinkedIn people watching, if you're watching on the live here, if you catch us on the live and want to comment, the great comment machine doesn't work so well on LinkedIn. So come on over to YouTube or Rumble. Just go over to YouTube, where you don't need a link. Just go to YouTube and type DYOR Media. You'll find us. Type Rumble, do the same thing. Do the same thing. Give me a second here while I try to spread the word about the show. Pedro said he'll be on around the bottom of the hour here. Let's see, where is that? Sorry, everybody, just trying to share this show around a little bit more. Okay. Now, where was I here? Oh yeah, market review, cryptos, etc., according to the great clock here above me. Anyway, we were talking about Bitcoin. And then I also wanted to talk about, see where Kronos came back here. Oh yeah, that's right, it's dumping. It's dumping. I do want Pedro to talk about this later. Crow USDT. Really matter which one I bring up here. Anyway, the daily chart from Kronos As we all recall, last month, the end of August, they had the super pump. The Donald Trump news came out. Oh, that's interesting. I have drawn on this chart before. Oh yeah, I remember. This is what I wanted to talk about. Kronos sucking wind. Let me go back to my small self here. What I said on Kronos, listen, now I recall being right. I love it when I'm like Pedro when I'm right. What did someone call me? Tom O'Damas or something like that? Anyway, hold on, let me get this the right screen back here on the comment machine. Strange. There we go. Sorry about that. Anyway, what we were talking about with Kronos, which is down 5% today, down back to 19 cents. The big pump, not a couple years ago here, but what I'm trying to show here is the chart. If you watch this show before, you've seen me go over this and poo-poo the Kronos people. Poo-poo the Kronos people because they had the big pumps and then big sell-offs. Every time there was a pump, there was a sell-off. It never could consolidate after that. And I always thought that was very suspect. I was like, something's wrong here. Something is wrong. And because I spent a lot of time in the meme coin place, which was bad, I know it gave me bad day trading habits and the wrong mindset. But it gave me the ability to look at this chart and go, doesn't matter what TA you do on this. It's fucked. It's fucked. And for all of you that have invested in Kronos, I hope you sold up there. And then on this latest pump, here, I hope all of you sold right up here during this pump and this blow off. Everybody, I got to tell you, everybody, meaning all of crypto Twitter, was thinking, let's go to the weekly chart here, see if I can get a better look at this. Everybody was talking about, here it is, here's the time, the investment from the Donald Trump family, or the Trump family, whatever it's called. Big thing with World Liberty Financial. Boom, it's going here. Boom, 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 it's going. And it did. It did. It went boom, boom, boom. And then it pulled back. As I predicted, and it's not because I'm Pedro Damas or Nostradamus or anything like that. It's because you look at the chart and you say, there are people that are big bag holders, probably on the inside at Kronos. I don't know where, I don't have any inside knowledge about anything, but I'm guessing that the token is a big benefit over when you work for crypto.com. And when the price pumps, people sell. And then they buy it back cheap again, DC or slowly over time. And then it happened again right here. It happened, and I said it's going to pull back. It got all the way up to 38 cents or something like that. I know I rode the futures. I rode the futures down a little bit, but then there was a little wobble in the price, and it went back up, and it stopped me out. So I didn't really make much money. I should have got back in because it was at like 27 cents. Could have rode it all the way down. Let's go back to the daily chart here. That was the weekly chart. But here you can see the weakness. It just popped. And then it came back down. And you can see the volume is still pretty good here, considering the volume before the pump right here. And it came back down. If you look at the chart, every time that there was a massive pump, there was a big slow sell-off after it, which says that there's insider selling or large bag holders taking their money. VC firms, it's a very, very possible that a VC firm has money in it. All these things just lead to nothing but ball-sucking chart sell-offs. And this is fine if you're at a meme coin because you expect it and you plan for it. But in the major chain tokens, you do not expect it. And that's why I faded this while Pedro was not fading it. Anyway, let's head over to BNB and do the same talk with BNB. All right. Well, first of all, this chart's awesome. if you're looking at the daily chart. BNB down 5%. Look at that, the great graphics machine over there. I got the arrow to pulse. At least little victories in life. If the change in price is 5% or more, up or down, the percentage change its glow changes, and the arrow pulses. How about that? How about that? You know what? I missed this. Chuck, Fire Chicken. Tom was right. I was right. I'm enjoying being right here, or I should say correct. The trouble is, my money didn't back it up. So if my money backed it up and I called it, then I can claim victory. But if I'm just up here yappering like some influencer, I can't really claim too much victory. Mostly because I'm a student. That to be clear, everyone. I am a student at this, and I have been for some time. And I have not been able to dedicate the time to getting out of student mode and into professional mode. I realize it takes a lot of time to do that in dedication. But I'm learning. But I was learning well enough to learn that Chronos thing was bullshit. And what sucks is I really want Crypto.com to be a sponsor of this show. Anyway, back to BNB. BNB pumping, mooning like crazy. Why are they doing it? Why are they pumping and mooning? Because CZ's back in the game. That's why. You can look at all the technical aspects and all that type of stuff, and I know Pedro is all over that. But the reason here is we had a fundamental shift in what's going on with BNB. That with CZ coming back out of the joint, getting back into it. Remember his tweet about didn't know DEXs were so cool. About 5-6 months ago or something like that. We were all like, how did he not know? Because he was making billions anyway, so why would he mess around with DEXs that weren't making billions? Now DEXs are making billions, and he's in. So BNB is pumping because of what's going on there. The volume on BNB is pumped up huge to the point where all the Solana maxis are complaining that, everyone's just going to come back to Solana. Pump funds, doing everything awesome over there, so it will beat everybody. None of that matters. Soon, everything will be chain agnostic anyway. The point is that BNB's pumping, and it's at 1,227, whereas a couple of weeks ago it was at 500. Right, but let's go back and look at the bigger chart there. Let me check to see if Pedro's around. No, he's not. Let's go to the weekly chart. Anyway, here's the weekly chart since 2019. And what's different about this chart than the Crow chart? First of all, it's followed Bitcoin a little bit. You can see the pumps in here in 2021. I'm not pointing at the right spot. 2021 out there. 20 and 21, the end of whenever. Back when Bitcoin first hit 60,000, BNB was pumping. It's a safe moon era. Everybody was buying BNB, all that type of stuff. And then the price didn't tank. Did it come back off? Yeah. Did it get down? Did it go from 600 and some to as low as 198 or something like that at one point? Yeah, but was there an immediate sell-off? Just during the big crash in 2017 back there. But generally, it's been on an uptrend. Doesn't have that meme coin feel, does it? Nope. No, it doesn't. At least not yet. Doesn't have that meme coin trend. I blew right through my commercial break here, which I'll do in just a moment here, and allow Senor Pedro to come on, whose mic I have on mute right now. Anyway, so why did it do that? That was weird. Let me fix this here. Anyway, so that's BNB. It's pumping like crazy. It's different from Chronos. Same type of thing. It's a coin's underlying chain. Chronos totally, in my mind, I'll just say, is Chronos a scam? We did a whole show on it. Yeah, it is. Until the VCs, insiders, and everybody sell off all their tokens and stop killing the pumps. Notice nothing's killing the pump in BNB. Sure, it's retracted a little bit today, but it has a blown off top. You'd expect it to come down a little bit. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's the top of the hour here. We're running late today for the show. I'm going to run a small commercial break here and then come back with Senor Pedro Garcia. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't mean to show the show credits. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us after this commercial hour here. Let's get this going here. Come on back. There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, thanks for putting us with the commercial break there. Anyway, it's the second half of the show here today. Actually, the first hour, second half hour of it. Anyway, as I say, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media universe. You're watching DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. We do a 2-hour daily show about crypto, about digital assets, about commodities, futures trading, and the education and entertainment that surrounds that whole industry. Join us daily if you would like to be entertained and learn a little bit about something too. I got my co-host Pedro Garcia in the house today. He's on voice right now while he's consuming the Trump content about solving the Middle East war over there with Israel and Hamas. Pedro, what is happening today? Oh, I thought he was here. Mic on? Mic's on. All right, he must have stepped away for a second here. Yep, his sound connection officially died again. Well, he'll be with us when we can here. Let's switch over. Let's see. The chart above me is saying 121.506. Let's see what the great graphics machine is telling us for Bitcoin here. Is it coming back down? Oh, that's BNB. Let's go to BTC. They're doing it so much faster than before. Actually, the futures market, this is the spot market, the spot price. Yeah, I'm querying the spot price here. Is now 127.91, coming down 1.5%. Note I have the BNB chart up there. All right, Pedro should be back now in the house. Pedro?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep. We can.
Awesome. It's real interesting to see what's actually happening here with BNB.
Yeah, I was just talking, Pedro, about BNB, not so much as levels and liquidity levels and all that type of stuff, but more in comparison to Kronos. And the BNB chart over the past 5 years has been generally on a trend upward with, up peaks and valleys during the super bull markets of 2017 and late 2020, 21, compared to the Kronos chart, which I correctly called that pump was going to turn into a big dump, because that's the history of Kronos. That's what happens. And sure enough, that's what happened with Kronos. Everyone dumped it off, which I basically put that to insiders, VC firms. Uh-oh, heard the thunder. That means the lows are coming. Chuck Jansen's office is shaking. Bitcoin coming down.
I would disagree with you majorly.
I know. I mentioned that. I said Pedro would disagree with me on that, but
just let's look at the volume. Like, look at the volume. Like, all right, so we have the big push up. The normal volume is right here. So this is normal volume sitting. You can see right here. And if you look at this, and if we come over here to the left, it's actually higher than normal volume. This volume here, but because you had this exorbitant amount of volume, you can't see it. Now, in addition to that, when you look at what's actually happening, like from a charting standpoint, you can see here that yes, they're selling off. I'm not disagreeing. Yeah, they're definitely selling off. But when we get to low points, we see higher amounts of volume. Look, low point. Right here, you see right here, we're seeing an increase in buyer volume, increase in buyer volume, even at these higher levels. Then you have last few days, right back here, this couple weeks, where it was basically like low amount of seller volume as we're coming down. Then you can see here a decent amount of volume coming right here. We sell off. Even on these days, you have higher volume sitting right here, higher buyer volume. So they're bringing it down, but as they're bringing it down, they're buying. Like, we hit an area of liquidity and then we buy. This is previous high. Here's the high. That's why I drew this liquidity point here. This is the previous high before we had the explosion up. So there's case for what you're saying. From a charting standpoint, I don't see it. You see no seller wicks as we're going down. Out of all of these, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 days out of a lot of these days. And you can see here, as we're coming down, you see a lot of demand wicks. So if you're right, then why are so many people buying as we're coming down? And as it looked like it was starting to pick up.
I would say it's the same insiders that sold off are saying, all right, I'm taking some of the profits and buying back into it because this pattern's going to repeat.
Could be.
That's my hypothesis. We'll call it a hypothesis.
But we can also see here.
Here, I'm just going to pop my chart up here real quick here. If you can, I don't know if you can. I don't know. Well, hold on. I just want to say why. And I mentioned this before you came on. I said Pedro's going to disagree with me on this. I said, but I said this
reasons, is like technical
I do too.
Reasons as a trader.
Right, and I said mine were not technical. I said mine were fundamentally driven by insiders wanting to make cash money. And every chart or every pump you see in this Kronos chart here has an immediate sell-off without consolidation. And I said, and even when this thing pumped to 38 cents here, even before that, when it got up to 26, 27 cents, I said, you watch. And I drew this chart back then. I said, you watch, there will be a sell-off. And then, of course, I had to eat my words because it went up to 38 cents. But now the sell-off is starting, and it's coming back down.
And I also said to you, it's not going to sell off. It's going to.
But it did. It came from 38 down to 19 now.
Okay. I guess where the miscommunication is this. And I think this is like super important because I'm going to bring XRP into this, right? Like I said, XRP is looking to push. I don't want it to, but once we got here and I started seeing all this volume coming in, right? I said, this thing's going to push. There's no way that it won't. And I go, the next level is all-time highs because it's already traded all through this. I said, I don't want it to because I don't agree with what it's doing, but it's going to push up. And we were talking about this even before I even started pushing up. I literally said, people are buying this. People are buying this because it came down to areas of previous highs and it was holding it. Previous highs held it. We started seeing volume come in. You can see down here, volume coming in. Like it's just, so if we go to, and this, I think this is really important to understand. It has to take out sellers that are above it, and those sellers then step in and sell off. Like it's they come up to sellers sell off. I thought it was here. The sellers stepped in. Well, actually, probably buyers came in, but boom, pushed it all the way up to here. Again, this is previous high, broke through this resistance zone, sold off. I thought we would stop right here, which was the low, right? Boom. And you can see right here is a supply area. Right here is another supply area. It's called a drop-based drop, which was a previous low, which then it had to push really hard for shorts to step in to drop it through this previous low. And then that's where you actually have this support coming in, this resistance coming in, which hit this area right here. So the next resistance level would be right here. But it actually went all the way up to this supply area, which is a monthly supplier that it came up to this level. My next level is up here. And so this is going to come down. It's settling around the highs here.
No, I got you on that, and I don't disagree with you about the buying when it kinked and started wicking up. I agree with you on that. What I just said. I mean, in both, like XRP, Kronos has a massive community. As soon as they see good news, they're all going to FOMO on and help drive it up as well. But I was just saying that while BNB has staying power because of the personality of CZ and the projects that he's in, Kronos doesn't have that. They don't even, there's no public figure. There's nobody out there championing it except a bunch of X influencers. And so you don't have that staying power. It's like a meme coin. As soon as it pumps, it dumps. And you can I don't know where I was going with that, but the point is that every time since Kronos was launched, every pump it's had is dumped off. It's never had that nice consolidation phase and then moving into a flag and then a normal and then another pump, which we like to see in these things, especially chain coins themselves. It's not a meme coin. It's not some RWA token or bond treasure, Bitcoin treasury thing or anything like that. It's a legitimate token. I don't know if you're trying to talk, but I can't hear you.
It's an exchange token. Oh, you hear me?
I got you now, sir. But anyway,
so it's an
right? It's the primary token for the Kronos chain, pro chain,
DeFi,
whatever.
and then DeFi chain.
Right.
Because it doesn't even really have a chain, right?
Yeah, there's the Kronos chain, the whole Kronos chain.
Yeah, it's the DeFi chain though. It's not really a.
Just like BNB. I mean, it's an EVM Ethereum chain. It's no different.
Yeah. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but like I said, I'm expecting it to come down around here to that 1700. We could be playing off of this right here, and I think we're gonna hit either 17 and or 12. If it does come down to those levels, I'm gonna buy it back, and then go for the next leg up, which is gonna be that 54.46, and it'll pull back, and then we'll see it go up again.
What I would like to see with this, though, is not the pullback. As
it works. That's not charting.
Well, no, but this chart looks completely different than every other chart. Every other chart at least has some period of consolidation. This doesn't have any consolidation except at its lows.
What is
except
this?
at its lows.
Right
I said
here.
except at its lows.
Right
it never
here.
pumps and consolidates. Like BTC pumps, consolidates at its highs around that area. Pro sells off.
That is not normal. This right here is not. No, this right here is normal. I can pull up thousands of stocks that look like this. Okay, this is traded like a legit, like traditional finance stock. If you look at, this is not a crypto stock, or this is not a. It's not. This is traded like it's trading, like taking out sellers, coming back down, taking out sellers, coming back down. Taking out sellers, coming back down, consolidate. These areas here are like this is a base. This is a base. High, higher high, higher high. Low, lower low. Or excuse me, higher low, higher low. Like it's gonna come back down, boom, bounce back up. Come back down, boom, 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 push back up. Come back down, push. This will be I'm gonna sound nuts saying this. This will be a Bitcoin. Everybody will look back and go, holy shit.
And I agree with you on that. But once we get the unknown Singaporean investor groups out of it, once they sell off their stuff.
Maybe you're right. I just in all my trading, this is more tradable than BNB. I'll put it like that. Like this holds like this right here is crazy.
Yeah, well that's a
crypto.
That's an outsized pump because of the Astor effect and the CZ out of jail effect. But it wasn't like you weren't talking about that also. I mean, you've been talking about BNB going bonkers for a long time.
Going to 1800 is what I said.
Right. Not that far off. It's like a good 2-week pump away from that.
Yeah, like literally. We've talked about by the end of this bull run, we will see an 1800 BNB. Right? For Ethereum, I'm expecting it to see by the end of this run a 1300 Ethereum. For Bitcoin,
Ethereum down 4.5% today.
Yeah, some stuff happened. Second, I think a lot of money is also going to BNB as well.
I think part of the Hamas deal was that Hamas had to sell its crypto, so it unloaded its Ethereum and BTC.
That'd be crazy, right?
Anyway, BCC down to 119. Dumping. As predicted, here on DYOR Media. BTC at this chart is still saying it's at 120, but the spot chart. Actually, which chart is it? That would be, the Binance spot chart's already down to 119.7. Wherever the hell CoinGecko is probably averaging the price, it's still at 122.46.
So this is pulling it back to these lower levels, but I mean, again, we close on a weekly high. We close above the highs, so this is typically what they would normally do. So they would sit there and push it up. Now, the other part we talked about is at the beginning of the month, we went up. That's why I was a little nervous for this rally here, because I said if they pushed the market up first thing, I wanted it to originally go down first and then go up, right? But I gave us 3 scenarios that we could see. We could see it go up first, then come down, and then go back up again. Okay, so that would be towards the end. So this is what it would look like weekly wise. First week it would go up, second week it would go down, put in a higher low, and then the third week go up again, and then we see a sell-off that basically allows for the end of the month profit taking. Something like that. So we can sit there and see it. So first week up, second week pull back, then third week go up, where you see the biggest part of the leg up, and then we see it come back down again. And obviously this is an exaggerated route of it getting up to 140, but again, this is what I'm expecting. Now, again, that was the 3 scenarios that I would expect, or that was 2 scenarios. The other one was up, down, continue down, right? But again, we're in that bull run. So that bull run would make, that's where I'm more apt to sit there and say, if it goes up beginning of the week, we're going to see it come down. I want to see with lower volume on that second week when it comes down. And then the third week, it will start off by going down first on the third week, and then rally into mid to the end of the week to see it go up on that third week, and then the fourth week see profit taken. So, and most likely on that fourth week see it go up, and on Monday, Tuesday, potentially Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday for that week see it sell off.
Well, one of the things that I was talking about earlier was the 3 scenarios that you gave. I think I distilled them down into 2, and I just changed in my mind, I just changed the timing. I'm going to bring up my chart here. The Bitcoin weekly chart here that I keep talking about, how the plan was for the month, in which in one instance it goes down at the end of the month, which would be this arrow here, because it went up so high at the beginning. The first week up, obviously a pump. October is like 5 weeks this month, I think, this year. And the second week, now it's coming to fruition here, would be down. And then depending on how, if October was going to finish down, like you said, because it opened up, this time frame here, while I have it in weeks, would stretch over to the end of the month. So the end of the month would be down like this. However, this is an odd month. It's longer this year because of the way it worked out. And if October decided to be a pumptober, and the internet, as the word I used yesterday, Denzians, and internet influencers are correct, and like pump, moon, and all that kind of stuff, it would still need to go down first, as you teach me. And then need to do the super pump in the last kind of 5th week of this of this October, and have the Halloween pump. And of course, from my perspective as the noob, predicting something out this far is impossible. Not impossible, just highly improbable, and not usually correct. But I've been using the time to talk and walk myself through these scenarios. To practice looking out like that. So you said you gave 3 scenarios. I distilled them down into 2. One where we end red the month, and the other where it decides for some reason to do the super pump and pump up. Personally, I feel that we will be doing the hunt for red October here. But if, like I said, if the world's college students FOMO, this one's going to happen over here. And that's, a couple of years ago when Robinhood was getting blasted, or blasting its volume out, and that whole AMC and GME stuff was going on, and every college student got in on it. You saw outsized pumps like this in unexpected times. Anyway, Bitcoin moving down. Sorry about that. I just cut you off there, Pedro.
I took a bunch of videos of of many of like those pretty background scenes on the new VMO. I remember it said Google. I forget which one it was, but I used Grok's one, and it was, dude, I cannot believe I was prompting it to do a couple things, and I was just so shocked how realistic. I literally said, give me one of these videos of the sky opening up, kind of like what the Bible says that Jesus is going to come back like. And like, you know, I gave it some reference, bro. I was like, holy crap. It was, dude, the likeness of like what Jesus would look like. Because I actually gave it like the picture of what like the historical Jesus, what he would look like, right? Basically like a short Jewish man, like a really dark.
Long hair and carpenter sandals.
Yeah, not in long hair, because remember, he would have most likely been like very ethnic Jew, right? Not like a European.
Well, they didn't have much. They didn't have a lot of good scissors back then.
Yeah,
getting your hair cut wasn't normal, or shaving wasn't normal.
Yeah, so like he would have been not hairy per se, but like he was a Nazarite, right? Well, no, he was not a Nazarite. Excuse me, he was a Nazarene. Big difference. But the biggest thing that I look at is this: is that like he would have been. Anyways, I gave him the picture. There's a historical picture of him, and so like not a historical picture as in like the European Jesus, but the actual like what they think he might have looked like, of the look of the first century second temple.
Wait, are you saying you used your picture?
No, I'm really good looking. Jesus is not good looking. Not to be arrogant, and forgive me for even saying that, right? Like, but I'm just like, we know you wouldn't have been that good looking of a guy. If anything, very disfigured is what the scriptures would have. You know, it's the reason why I'm saying this is that I had it posted, and bro, I was so shocked how good the video looked. I was like, oh my goodness, that is good. And for it to sit there and this is the worst it will ever be. I mean, it still doesn't look
right
like, but it got pretty close. And I'm like, I heard somebody say, you know, they could totally fake, you know, anything at a point where it's like you can fake anything. You really can.
I got to tell you, the mother-in-law's been fooled by a lot of these things, as she has recently taken to Instagram, and so I get a lot of this. Stuff. Oh, I can't believe this! Oh my god! I'm like, that's fake.
Yeah, that's.
And she's like, what do you mean it's fake? So now, at least now to the point, I've got her trained to be like modern internet people, where you first assume something's fake until you can prove that it's. But I gotta tell you, the best accounts now on Instagram and other places are just the AI jokes. Oh my god, like the 10 best whatever. And
dude,
oh my god, they're so funny.
Oh. Dude, absolutely. Are you watching the new cat ones that are coming out that they're putting out?
I was watching some cat like jump.
The cat and bear.
Yeah, the cat and bear. I saw that one. That takes care of the bear and all this, and the bear's like, screw this thing.
I sat there, bro. I at first I was like, oh, that is actually really cool. That cat. And then I was like, wait, is this AI? And then so I typed in cat AI videos. And sure enough, the big trend was bears. There's like 15 of them. And I was like, okay. But for a brief second, because it was so real, and you hear the mom saying something weird, like she's like, hey, why, you know, and then I saw the thing, like, who's taking the video? And I was like, well, it would be Ring. It would be the Ring cam. And then I was like, oh, this has got to be AI.
But then the video starts moving like it's a camera person, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, either way, I just thought it was really interesting, because these things they're getting so good, dude. I'm like, I saw one of this. I follow this train history account because I'm a train foaming nerd, and someone said, "Hey, I've used one of these services to restore the original video filming of a train crash that happened back in like 1902 or something." And he did the before and the after, and it was really amazing that the restoration. Then someone said, "Wait a minute, where did they get the drone to film that in 1902?" You're like, oh,
God, I should have just known the obvious that the entire thing was fake.
But it can get you. It can get you.
Yeah, it can get you. You know what? I just realized that I was negligent in doing was paying attention to the chat over in YouTube. For some reason, I didn't pop that out here and get it anyway. Carmen Crypto has. I can't grab it over there, but Pedro, maybe you can comment. Carmen Crypto, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. As always, coming to us from the great Republican state of Nevada. It's actually, it kind of goes both ways, that state, because it has a little bit of the California Democrat Party corruption in it, up in Reno. But thanks for joining us, Carmen. Looking forward to having you on the show again soon. Tell us what's happening, what's up, what's going on in V-Town. Man, I haven't called it V-Town in a long time. V-Town. Anyway, Pedro, we've come up on the commercial break for the hour. Instead of doing the bland one, I'm going to do a Rumble ad. Let's see what they give us today. Oh, yes, NFL. Excellent. Dun 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 dun. Hey, football fanatics, are you ready for some prime time NFL action? Tune in to Westwood One Sports for all the gridiron glory you crave, from jaw-dropping touchdowns to game-changing plays. Don't miss a moment of the excitement. Catch every snap, every tackle, and every victory on Westwood One. You can listen to the NFL on the NFL app, on the Westwood One Sports app, or on westwoodonesports.com via Westwood One station streams. That's a mouthful. Or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One. You know, it's football season. My Chicago Bears are, not going to talk much about them. But what you can talk about is, if you've got a smartphone, hold it up there and click this QR code that's right next to me on the screen right here. Go to Westwood One Sports and show our advertisers that our audience is interactive and really wants to hear from you. They don't even asking for your money. They just want your eyeballs there. If you like the NFL, check out Westwood One Sports by using this QR code. If you're watching on your phone, look over in the chat section, and there will be a Learn More link that you can go ahead and learn more about that. And if you're watching on the replay, down in the description, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a link to Westwood One Sports. So thank you to Westwood One Sports for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live.
DYOR Live.
Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Making the monies there, Pedro. Pulled in a cool 42 cents.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Alrighty.
Welcome, everyone. Please comment, like, share, all that type of stuff. Really, really appreciate it. Got my camera, my timer in the wrong spot, so I can't see the schedule. Anyway, thanks everyone watching us today here on the various channels that we're broadcasting on. As always, the LinkedIn people. Pedro, I've been trying to broadcast more on LinkedIn lately. Because we've been having regular conversations that are structured well, as I say. That plays better over on LinkedIn. And we'll be getting between 30 and 40 views. Not live at once, but over time. And so that's good. It's a good thing if rebuilding those are like free bonus views to add to everything. So thank you to everybody watching on LinkedIn. But as always, the comment machine over there, they don't have a good one. So come on over to YouTube or Rumble. Just go to YouTube or Rumble, type DYOR Media, and you'll find our live stream. And also, you'll find, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll find a whole bunch of shorts that you should watch and like. And of course, everyone on X, I don't have the X comment machine up today, but we're getting some good viewers there. Appreciate everyone that does tune in over there. And of course, on Twitch, we get our 1 or 2 view sellers every day. Although on Twitch, I get a replay every now and then. Our streams stay up on Twitch for a week before they take them down. And I'll get some people watching them, but the conversion, Pedro, of bringing them over into the main show is a little difficult. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time once again, running 15 minutes behind schedule today here. Normally, this would be the top of the hour here at 1 o'clock. What's going on? But anyway, welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Striking, otherwise known as Tom. The man in the box next to me is Pedro Garcia. We do a 2-hour daily talk show about the financial markets, heavy into crypto, but also more heavy into trading anything that'll make us money in a very liquid market. So we talk a lot about commodities and futures, the big cryptos, some meme coins, and some very small ones like our friends at Fire Chicken. Anyway, the market down today. Bitcoin is coming down off of its previous week highs and early this week highs. The S&P 500 is down a little bit, NASDAQ down a little bit, the Dow Jones is down a little bit as well, each of them down about a half a point. And with the dollar up a little bit today. Biggest movers are Netflix up another $21 today, which represents another 1.5% change for them as the negativity from Elon tweeting about Netflix reverses itself and people bought the dip with Netflix, as they say, and that price is coming back. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it as we move into this hour of the show. Pedro, what else you got for us here today?
I was actually gonna talk about gold. Gold.
Let's talk about gold. Yes.
Yeah, right here. So we started. I said. Gosh, all right. I think it was yesterday. I said that it doubled. And somebody hit me up. It was like, I don't think it doubled, dude. You might want to check that. And so I went and looked it up, and I was like, oh, you're right. And it went from 207. Give me 1 second.
Well, if it didn't double, it almost doubled.
Yeah. So to the low, because he was saying when you look at the start of the month of January. It was all the way up. Here it is, right here. Right here. So it started here on this day, and it was 2,073, and came all the way down to 2004 at the beginning. So I always say it's going to create the seller during that time period, because I said I expect to see gold hit what was it? We were at, what was the price? I think I said I expected it to go up to 2,800. No, it's 3,400. Either 34 or 28. I think I said 3,400. Which is going to be my furthest target. Obviously, it surpassed that dramatically. But the first one was 28, and then the other one, and it's all based off of if Trump causes certain things to happen, we start to see unravel. We talk about things slowing down first, and then gold would go up based off of the economy, and so that's why we talked about gold during the inauguration. I called them the Trumpian trades that we could kind of guess on them. Remember that?
I do.
I can't believe
I do.
It's almost a full year so far, 9 months. And so we went from here all the way down. But I mean, now that I'm looking at that, yeah, so we hit 81. So we did not double, but we got pretty close. Now we started up at much higher, but the reality is they came back down, pulled back. So if we talk about the pullback, creating the demand wick into the full year body wick, we're talking, it's almost, when you just look at this here real quick. It's the full year. It's not even the end of the year. But you can see here, it started around that 20. Oh, wait, maybe he's wrong. It's interesting that.
Pedro, I've got a story on my screen. Gold-backed crypto tokens top $3 billion as metal Metals hit all-time highs. And the article talks about tokenized gold. I've got the price of Pax Gold over here, which mirrors the price of gold in Tether Gold. And the Bitcoin to gold ratio has slipped under 32, highlighting gold's relative outperformance despite Bitcoin setting fresh highs. Tokenized gold assets surged past a $3 billion market cap, of which Pax Gold is responsible for 1.2 billion of that. If you can believe, our friend Jesus has been telling us about Pax Gold for
since literally, for almost 3 years.
Right.
2 years. I mean, literally, he was talking. We would go over gold. He would be like, Pax Gold, and he was buying it back here. So, I think he was buying the futures of it. I think he was trading the perpetuals. Is what he was trading.
Here I've got Tether Gold. The pricing for Tether Gold, which obviously is the same, but they've got a $1.5 billion market cap now. $1.5 billion for Tether Gold, or XAUT.
I wonder how they're made. I wonder how it's made. Are they buying the futures, or is it its own, perpetual future, its own exchange system? I'm curious how it's done.
I think with Pax Gold, I'll have to do some research on it, but I think you can, at any point with Pax Gold, you can contact them and say, send me my gold in consumer amounts, not in country amounts, and thus that keeps the price. That's the way that they keep the price linked to the actual price, because people arbitrage it, because you can take delivery. You could say, send me my gold. I think there's a limit, and the limit is based on their terms and conditions, not based on laws or anything.
You gotta let me see that, because that's crazy if that's true. If you can actually take delivery, because you can't even take delivery now with the futures gold within the CME. You can't even get gold.
Yeah, I don't think Pax Gold does it themselves. Like, they set up their own gold thing, mining operation and all this. I think they've just partnered with one of the gold companies that has a big shit ton of it in storage somewhere, and they just do the same thing countries do. They just essentially change the ledger, and say, all right, take 1 ounce and move it over from Pedro's pile to Tom's pile, as he bought it from Pedro. I'm not sure they actually send it to you, but I think I did read some story where you can actually get small amounts, like you can get ounces, not gold bars.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. So,
but it's not linked to a contract. It's not linked to deliveries on a contract. It's just a medium of exchange. You can say, all right, I've got $4,000 of value there. Just send me 1 ounce of gold, and their fulfillment service will send you 1 ounce of gold. But it has nothing to do with contractual deliveries like the CME does. That's how most do it. There was a bunch of crypto projects that came and went. We had one of them we had on this show 4 years ago or something like that. And I listened to their pitch, and I was like, no, that's not gonna work. Like, they had like 3 guys working, and they were all of suspect quality individuals. When you hear someone talking on the crypto spaces, and you just look at it around like, that guy's a scammer. And these guys didn't scam. You just had that lack of confidence in management, as they say. And sure enough, they disappeared very quickly with everybody's money. I'll be right back. I'm going to get my coffee here, or tea.
All right.
But yes, Pax Gold and Tether Gold. Keep an eye on.
Absolutely. Also, which I thought was really interesting. Thomas doing that. Bybit becomes the first fully operational licensed crypto exchange in the UAE, which I thought was really interesting. Nvidia surpasses 4.75 trillion in market cap. Shout out to
crazy. It's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, just remember, if we keep printing money, these will keep going up. and
Right.
their marketplace. Because remember, it's basically correlated or inverse. As we deplete the US dollar and its ability to buy more goods and services, it makes assets increase in its value. This is why we've been preaching buy crypto, because its dollar to income ratio will keep going up as long as kind of the debt keeps going up. That's why we always look at this area. Or where is it at?
Did you notice? Oh, sorry. I thought you were transitioning. Go ahead and finish.
Oh no, it's just I was going to bring up just the fact that the U.S. dollar to crypto again dropped down. It's now at $5.93 versus $6. So it's going down, and sooner or later, once it hits the parity of 1-to-1, that's when you're going to see the full adoption. We're about 500% of that, or 600% from that right now. But if this keeps going up, this right here keeps going up, and this is still the speed in which it's moving, this will keep or decreasing. That's a better way of saying it. The price of crypto will keep decreasing because the US dollar to its debt ratio loses its value, or not loses value, but the crypto gains its value, or keep gaining value more and more because of this ratio.
When you finish with this, can you go back to the NVIDIA stuff?
Yep. That's it.
I was trying to figure out a way to get the NVIDIA stock price on the great graphics machine here, on the new great graphics machine. Looking good with the cyberpunk theme, I might add. I like it a lot.
I do like it. I like it a lot too.
But the price, this is an Ondo tokenized version, and it's listed on CoinGecko. 192.90. Is that the price on the stock market there?
Yeah, it's 195.30.
Let me. So there's
This
a
is the Nasdaq.
slight. There's a slight discount online. Must be the cost of arbitrage between the two. But
will
interesting
shorten.
enough, yes, it will. Like it will shorten, but it's interesting.
That's just not money. That's not about
But
money
it's
in traders' pockets.
It's only a $3 million market cap over here, so it's probably not shortening quickly because the liquidity is too low right now.
Ooh,
Can't put big orders in.
No, okay.
But if the Ondo is tokenized this, then we're going to see. I can probably pull up a list of other Ondo tokenized stocks. There's probably a whole bunch of them.
Well,
Today you're reminding me of. Normally I get this of Tony Stark, but today you have the red light coming up out of your
chest.
out of your neck, like you have the fusion energy source in you. I like it with the cyberpunk. Yes, excellent. I love it. I love every second of it.
The reason why is it's actually colder. I don't want to turn on my heat yet. I don't want to go down the furnace to turn everything on and get it all, So like I have like the red light therapy stuff, and it basically generates heat within your body. It gets it hot, it turns on the heat. And so like I'm like, I can just throw this right here. I'm I'm right here by the window, so there's a nice little breeze coming in. I can feel a little, so I'm like, ooh, I'm a little cold, which I can handle the cold, like, because I take cold showers, but a little cold, so I'm like, yeah.
Pedro, one of my employees that I used to have here in Ottawa lived out in the sticks. Good guy, could build cars, very, very skilled, could build at just about anything. And had to go to his house one time. I had to drive that way and exchange cars and this kind of stuff. I said, I'll drive you, drop you. Okay. So we get there. He says, I said, do you mind if I use the restroom? And we get into his house. There is like tubes. It's winter. There's like dryer vent tubes running around the place, like where his chair is that you watch his TV. And then, and then in your place, there's like a day bed there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't remember his name. I wish I could. We'll call him Mike. I said, Mike, I said, first of all, it's cold in your house. He goes, yeah, I don't have the heat on. I'm like, it's minus 20 out. He goes, yeah, it's warm enough in here though, right? I'm like, it's not freezing. Okay, yeah. Pipes are still on. Yeah, the water didn't burst and all that. And I said, what? And he was, well, and like, I was joking with him. I'm like, I pay you enough. You can afford heat. I mean, he's like, oh no, I can afford it, but I don't need it. I'm like, it's Canada in January. Of course you need heat. He goes, no, I got it. He said, I have a little electric heater over there. It's kind of industrial size, and he's got it hooked to the 220 for power it. Yeah. And in the tube, it just blows to his chair, in which he has this blanket with a window on it, like with a flap that either has a open, like a tent, or polycarbonate that he can see the TV. And then when he goes to bed, he's got another tube that goes over there and warms his bed from underneath. And so he's like, I don't need to heat the whole house. I'm like,
he's right.
I
probably saved $10,000 a year.
Yeah, I mean, instead of having a $400 gas bill a month, he pays an extra $100 in electric probably. And he goes, I'm not even here during the day. I work 8 to 9 hours a day. We're working overtime. You got us working OT, so I'm working 12 hours, and I drive a half hour each way. Why should I pay to heat that on? That's like,
yeah.
I was like, well, you got a good point there. I said, when was the last time you had anyone over to entertain, have a drink, or your buddies over? He goes, about 7, 8, 10 years ago. I was like,
Yo, when you reach like 32, 33, that shit just gets
he was 58, 59, something like that.
I was going to say, yeah, because like it just, listen, I love my friends. I love them, but you know what? I ain't their mom. I'm not here to clean up after them. And a lot of times, like, it's just like, nah, like, we can go to a bar, we could hang out, we can have a good time, we can BS. But unless, I mean, here's the story. If I get married, it's a different story, right? Like the wife loves well, you're a married man.
Woman be like, this is striking, we'd be like, the heat is on, bitch. There will be no cold saving money. You can save money on other things that you're interested in, but I'm interested in heat. And I'd be like, yes, dear.
Yeah, because, okay, kids or a wife, like that changes everything, right? Like you have to build a home. But a guy, he lives in a house. It's a utility for him. It's not a home. I mean, I've been with enough single dudes to know that, to sit there, it's a utility. I go there, I shower, I shave, I sleep. Cool. Like, I know rich dudes. Dude, there's a famous guy that y'all would, but if you would have walked in his house before he got married, you would be like, you're worth how much? Like, you're like, dude, this, why? Like,
he's
why
like,
do you live
how
like
do you
this?
think I got rich? I didn't waste my money on needless things like heat.
He was a trader, and it's just fun. It's funny because he's got all these weird eclectic, like, now he's married, he's got kids, and his life was complete. It's one of the first things his wife said was like, she's like, you can keep those things. I have no problem with you keeping them, but you're not keeping them up here. Like, you're gonna have your own man room. You can buy, like, she's like, you want me to move in your house? Like, yeah, this is what you're doing. Like, you like me? You like waking up next to me? Great. This is what you're doing. And like, go ahead, what's up?
Well, I was gonna say, Pedro, if you have that situation, you just wake up in the morning and you brew a hot cup of coffee. You know why I'm bringing up coffee, right? Have you still not tried 1775 coffee? Well, now is your shot. The 1775 starter kit has just dropped. Only 1,000 units. You guys need to change that. It's not just dropped. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard. You're also going to get the smooth medium roast. You're going to get the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash. No. All of this stuff is single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also getting, this is my favorite part, you're getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't served with plastic. Nope, it is not. You're also getting a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. Getting a black 1775 tumbler also. Getting $170 worth of coffee and gear. Yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is worth it. So go to 1775coffee/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you got your cell phone in there watching on big screen TV, there's a QR code right here. Hold that cell phone up there, pop that QR code, go visit 1775 Coffee. They will appreciate our eyeballs on their products. It helps Pedro and I out a lot. I really appreciate it if you do it. If you're watching on your smartphone or tablet, in the chat section, there's a link that says Learn More. If you're watching on the replay down below, there's a link that will take you to 1775 Coffee. Brewed bold, served fresh, unapologetically at home. Right there, it says it right there. Anyway, thanks to 1775 Coffee for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live.
There we go. Dude, nice.
I did that one quite energetically.
You did, and it was very well done.
Whatever. Thing is frozen. There it goes. Where are all the usuals today? Where's the Fire Chicken? Kumgar. How about Mr. Pixel? I saw him the other day. You know what, Pedro? You know we're going to start broadcasting now and then?
What?
I was looking into the Pump Fun thing, which we'll do eventually. But first, we're going to test the waters out over on Lunar Pump Fun.
Yes.
Lunar Pump Fun over on Infineon's platform. They started their own launch pad. And so they've nicely talked me into. They graciously allow me to post the show schedule there all the time. So I said, well, maybe we should broadcast over there. So they're coming out with the instructions on how to do that. And once they do that, I think we're gonna have a Pedro and Striking coin of some sort that will be just a trial meme thing, not something that people can put 1 cent in, but just to give their video system a test, see how it works, and bring some entertainment over to the Infineon people once a week or so. So, any of you Infineon people are watching that, we're going to start doing that as soon as you get me the instructions on how to do it. See how that works out. Anyway, thanks to everyone that's watching us. Thanks for everyone that has shared our link out there. It's very important that you share the link because that's how the algorithms know, other than you just sending us money. So,
So let's look at potentially which way the market's going to finish up this week, and what I'm expecting to see happen. Now we saw the market kind of go up first thing, obviously last week, right? We were one of those things that I said I can't fully trust this, at least right now. I want to see a pullback, kind of pull, and so we saw the market rally. First thing, give me 1 second. BTC. Give me 1 second. Bifinex. Next.
now I see why that changes shape. Learn something new every day. Sorry to interrupt you there.
That's okay. So we saw Sunday, Monday go up. We saw Tuesday pull back, hit our supply or hit our demand area here. Now I put this after the fact, not before the fact. Just want to make sure you guys know that. So I did not call this part coming back down to, but it wasn't like I wasn't going to. It was just, we really didn't do a lot last week. And when we were, I really wasn't, we didn't, I don't think we live stream on Friday, right? So.
No, we didn't. It was Mrs. Striking's birthday.
Yes.
So we punted.
So, like I said, at the beginning of the month, when we just went straight up, I was like, I don't know. So this would have been our first target of a pullback. That next target is kind of like what I would see is kind of coming back down to this area here at that 1400, or excuse me, the 114 area. Not a bad thing. We just want to see it quickly pull back, just as quickly as it went up, right? And we kind of expect to see this boom happening this week and into next week, right? Boom. Goes down, takes the liquidity, and then starts to go back up again, right? And so that's what I'm expecting to see here. We talked about the down, up, or the up, down, up again. And so we're completing the second part of that phase. We're coming down and then into the third part where we see it then go back up. So that is what I'm looking for. And then November, we'll probably see a push up again, and then see potentially a sell off in December based off of the markets, and then again see it get bought back back in January. Again, seeing it rally even harder. And then January, February, and then into February, see the sell-off. And if we have a traditional bull market here, you'd expect to see a sell-off happening and happen for the next 4 years, right? From like that 250s where I'm expecting 250, 300,000 down all the way, potentially to the 100,000. Consolidate there again for a year or two, and then start to move its way back up again, right? So that's the typical thing that we typically see with Bitcoin. Is that going to happen this time around? We'll find out. The institutions allow for it. That's
I was
what I'm
listening
expecting
to Crypto Breakfast Club this morning, and Zach brought up contrarian viewpoint that someone was posting online about some famous person. I can't remember who the person was he was talking about. And just came right out and said this cycle will be different, and in fact all the halving cycles are BS anyway, and it just looks like it's following a pattern after the halving, but really it's following the money, and as you talk about, following where the liquidity is, and it's not based on the halving. It's a nice coincidence, but this pattern will be different. The bull run will be different because everyone's saying, well, it has to happen now because it's 18 months after the last happening. This one, it's happened in the past, so it's going to happen again. And his point was, no, it's going to go where the money is. And right now, even with BlackRock, as I said at the show, the beginning of the show, BTC chillin', BlackRock goblin. He said BTC waffles, BlackRock gobbles. That was in. BlackRock has bought a record amount. They have over 800,000 BTC now. More of it locked up in their ETFs, along with Saylor's 700,000 that he has. That's well over 1% of the supply. We're talking, a lot. Basically 1.5 million BTC. It's close to 5% just between those two.
If he is right. If we are all right, okay, but him in particular, he will be the wealthiest man, and his family will be the wealthiest people, and for the next 100 years.
You mean Saylor?
It will be the Saylor family. Yeah.
It would explode so fast. Just think Bitcoin 10x's. What hasn't 10x'd? That's been a proper token and growth thing. And what has? Even Amazon is 10x'd. Apple's 10x'd.
Yeah. It would be a $10 trillion market cap, which I think is very plausible. Very plausible. I think we could see a $40 trillion market cap just with BTC itself. Right? I know it sounds nuts, but if it keeps staying in front of inflation and we keep seeing that growth happening with BTC, this is where, he would literally be one of the most powerful people. His family will be it would be like the Waltons when Sam Walton was the richest man and then he died and his kids took over. It would be that type of wealth, but much more, much more.
It could be trillions of dollars.
Trillions. Yeah, his kids would be worth. I don't know how much he has. How much is he? He has $400 billion worth.
It's hard for me to figure out because he's got it divided between master strategy holdings and his personal holdings. His personal holdings seem to be much less, but his personal holdings are things that I think he bought with the cost basis at 10 cents.
No, he wasn't in Bitcoin like that. He got into Bitcoin around 3,000. He didn't.
I thought he personally was in it much earlier, than finally spun his company into it later.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. There's a story of him, I think, on Joe Rogan or something like that, where he was talking about it. I don't know if it was Joe Rogan or if it was somebody was telling me about it because he had watched it. But either way.
Speaking of the richest people, though, we've seen Larry Ellison go way up the list because Oracle stock basically went up 50% in one day. And I remember seeing that, and I'm like, how did they sell so much of that? You know, and how do they realize so much money, so much cash so fast? Who's paying them? And Oracle does run the behind the scenes stuff of a lot of shit, man. They run a lot of stuff. But it came out yesterday. Oracle kind of slipped on their public relations, and kind of started talking about how much money they're actually, making from their AI division, and their margins are razor thin. Were people thinking they were making billions, they're actually making millions, and small amounts of millions, because the margins are so thin, because there's so much competition between the big players. And I was hoping to have a tokenized version of the Oracle stock from Ondo, but nope. What are you seeing for the Oracle price here?
Consolidation. Just honestly, consolidation and seeing it come back down to that level here.
Yeah, that chart 2 days ago, that dip was when they announced their earnings were much less than planned.
Okay.
Yet it looks like people just said, "Fuck it, we're buying the dip."
Well, their dividend was today, so ex-dividend day. So it looks like people are buying to be part of the ex-dividend day. And then typically what happens is it sells off. They get their dividend and then they sell off. Right. And then boom, it comes back down. And like I said, this lower area, that 243 area, is really what I'm looking at. You're going to get it. Like, this is the area. Check the month. You could even potentially see it come back down to there. But the key point behind this is if it does pull back, I'd expect to see a ton of people buying it at these lower levels. Of that 233, I wouldn't expect it to go anything lower than this area here. So you have the weekly, or you have the monthly 8, and then you have the weekly 50, which would most likely, by the time it comes back down here, this will be coming up into that level here. So that's what I'm seeing here for Oracle. It's interesting that the S&P 500 is about 70, we didn't really go over Technical Tuesday today, but we're literally at almost 7,800, man. Like, it's crazy to think about 7,800.
The money printer is on.
6,800 is nuts to me. Like, what's interesting is the average true range on the S&P 500 is less than 1%. And typically the average range is, 1% to 2%. When we had that huge sell-off, it was 5%, 5 to 6%, right? Where it was literally going 250 points a day. And we had this huge sell-off back here during April. And that's when it was at 6,000. So if you think about it, man, that is just nuts. I just think it's nuts. I mean, 10%. Gone up 10, 12, 10, or how much have we gone up this year, I think? Give me a second.
Well, while Pedro's figuring that out, I have a quick news story for you all. Very bad news in the market. Very, very bad news. Ferrari shares are plummeting, Pedro. Ferrari shares plummet towards the worst day ever as guidance worries analysts. Now, who knew?
What?
Did we all know that when Ferrari went public that it would turn out to be a bad thing? Yes, we all knew that. Because when you go public, you take the money out of the company early and people lose their focus. Especially all the mid-level managers that got rich from the IPO. And I don't mean like mid-level guy, I mean like senior mid-level guys. They take their eyes off it. I mean, the markets are pumping. There is no reason for Ferrari to be losing money, right?
Yeah.
When markets pump, guys walk into the dealerships. I know my cousin owns all these exotic car dealers, and they just throw money at them. They borrow against their home. They borrow against their yacht. They borrow against Bitcoin. They borrow against everything, because that's what rich people do. They don't spend their assets. They borrow money and spend that. And exotic car markets, boom. Ferrari tanking. It turns out they have corporate financing problems. They took on debt afterwards. They did some corporate finagling, stuff like that. All the usual things that get companies in trouble when they take their eye this much off the ball. All they had to do is just build cars. Just build cars. Being a Ferrari, I know a guy, he's a Ferrari salesman. I know another guy who owns a Ferrari dealership. Easiest job on the planet is being a Ferrari salesman. All you do is sit there and you say, when's the press release come out? Comes out tomorrow. What is it going to say? New Ferrari is being released. Okay, and then the next day there's a line at your door of dudes with cash. You don't even have to sell it. You're just like, pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me. Fact that Ferrari is tanking, bad plan, you guys. Bad plan. Too bad. Poor guys.
I wonder how they are sitting in the F1 race.
They've actually spun the F1 team off of the public company. It's the F1 team is now its own marketing agency using the Ferrari name and technology, but they're not part of the earnings on the F1 or the expense, except for the marketing dollars that they spend on it. Some good movies. Ford versus Ferrari was good. I loved that movie.
Really good.
And the one about Enzo Ferrari with that awful actor. Let me rephrase that. He was awful in Star Wars. He was really good as Enzo Ferrari. Whatever his name is. The dude with the big nose and stuff. I don't know why. He's actually quite a good actor and he was just terrible in Star Wars. It's ruined the whole franchise.
Actually, that actually happens quite a bit. Like I watched him and he had this one thing with Scarlett Johansson. This one movie with Scarlett Johansson, and they were basically in a divorce and they were struggling, and they fell in love and all this stuff. And I just remember just being like, he's a good actor. He's like really good. And I was sitting there going like there's this one awkward scene where it's supposed to be awkward. She's just like demeaning him, and he's just like. And to see the struggle between him and his own like pride and trying to figure out how to work through this was absolutely amazing. Because how a guy would typically react, right? It was really good. And then I thought to myself, and then I remember this scene in Star Wars when I was like, why didn't you just do that? Like I was like, I was like, what happened? Like, did you miss? Like, did you not understand? Like, I know he was trying to become like and watching many of his other movies, some of his other stuff that he's been in before he was in that, it makes sense because he was actually a really good actor in a couple other things. So like, what missed at the Star Wars franchise? Like, what were you high? Did you get, did you get too much into Darth Vader's mindset? Like, what happened? Anyways, because he jacked up. Like, he was one of the main guys. I'm like, all right, I'm done with it. Right. And then her as the girl, she wasn't a good actress. She was, I just didn't see the struggle in her of like the dark force and her being like Princess Leia stuff. And anyways, it was just a lot. I struggled with it because I was like, y'all had billions of dollars. You couldn't have found better actors, but they were good actors too. So it wasn't, anyways, it's me.
Well, that's the Star Wars curse, is that George Lucas, when he was doing it, and Disney started following this for some reason, they would get mostly relatively unknown new actors, so they didn't have to pay them much. And then they actually did quite poorly, because that's what new actors do. And then the rest of their career sucks too, kind of like, Luke, like, whatever his name is, Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Obviously Han Solo was different because Harrison Ford was already a big star when he was in Star Wars. Coming off a great appearance in Apocalypse Now. American Graffiti. Apocalypse Now. Very underrated acting job. 10 minutes on the screen in Apocalypse Now. But anyway, and then, they have all these other people like, they're going to be a big star. Or like that idiot who played the young Anakin Skywalker. That actor. I'm like, that dude is way too gay to be Darth Vader. And and he's like, screaming, and you're like, and it's not my opinion. That's the whole Star Wars and universe.
Yeah,
They're like, that was the wrong dude for that.
Yeah. A lot of people.
Anyway,
We're not happy with him. It's interesting because you would think that you want the people to come out and support you. So it's like you said, it's like this. What's that? There's so many books out there that are now written that are what do they call them? Fan fiction. And they're great. They're absolutely phenomenal. Like some of these books, and you're just like, oh wow, and especially with like the whole entire branch off with I have to admit, I did like
You like that? How about that, huh? I just learned how to do. I know.
It's called Little Notes. Oh my goodness, Rob. From now on, you can be like, shut up, Pedro. You're talking too much, dog. Next subject.
For those you don't know, Pedro looks at his phone for broadcasting, and I was able to click a button here. Oh, it's just died. I was able to click a button here and change what is said on his phone to the director message type thing. Yes, you died, Pedro. Again, at the same time as yesterday. Same time. Anyway, Pedro's can't hear you. No Pedro, no Mo. Let's look at let me read another ad. No, we need one more viewer for a final ad for the show today. Bitcoin trying to recover here. Heard a lot of, got down to the 119s, pulled back a little bit here. Let me check a couple of feeds here, make sure they're running. Yeah, it's running. Is X running? Yeah, X running. Anyway, I'll take this time to...
Hey, can you hear me?
I can, yes, sure.
Alrighty, so it looks like my system is not responding. Oh, I've got to.
Pedro, it happened at the same time as it did yesterday, right? At 2:56 or 1:56. I mean, we should see if it happens again tomorrow. Although, you know what? Yesterday was a short show. It happened right before the end of the show, but not at the same time. I take that back. I'm thinking in terms of the show run of show guide, not the actual time.
No worries, I understand. Okay. Fun times. Here we go. All right, so I think what's interesting is, so most people, one of the things I think that's really interesting is the Russell. If you want to bring up the Russell, we'll go over it in just a second so I can check out your screen.
I will do that. Let's see. What is it? RTY?
Yeah, RTY.
E-minis? CME?
Yeah.
Which chart you on here?
CME.
I mean, what time
It
frame?
doesn't really matter. Just the biggest key is I want to point out is just that they've really been putting a lot of money into small businesses, and we talked about that. I expected to see a pullback and then an explosion with it. I said, if you're going to buy American, you're going to be buying American small businesses, right? Because they've been undervalued for such a while that, and I said it can be a bellwether of potentially what America will be like in a matter of years, right? I said, and I was looking, we were going to pull them up. I was going to pull them up on Technical Tuesday, but I was going to be able to be there. But you can sit there. Here's pull back.
Hold on, I'm getting its thing here. IWFON. Hold on, IWFON. Ondo has this thing tokenized here. Looking at it's pull back. Like I'm on the weekly chart here. I don't know what you mean by pull back.
No, broaden out, like zoom out.
Like
yeah, there you go.
2020.
Yeah, so you can see how we had that strong pullback, and I was expecting us to continue down at that point, but you can see how this past year, we've just done nothing but go up. And we're literally just right above the all-time highs there. And
Wow.
so what's
Yeah, look at
interesting
that.
is this. What's up?
Yeah, you're right. This previous high got El Smashoed.
Yeah. So I would expect after it hits that, right, you can see the original one, they tried to get above it, barely peaked and then sold off, which was the liquidity. But now we're continuing. So is this really people buying the U.S. market because of what is happening with Trump and what he's trying to do with the economy? And so they're buying these small caps, which has been underperforming for the last 4 years in comparative to what the stock market was doing. And so they bought they bought a lot of the low parts of the American industry, like the small manufacturing companies, a lot of the small companies that would benefit really well with a new source of what's the word I want to use? A new source of income by the rest of the world buying from them, right? A dropping of the U.S. dollar, and then in addition to that, tariffs. So if they come in and help fund, if I'm an institution and they're not going to buy from me, right? Well, then what's the next real play? I want to buy U.S. companies then and receive a profit from them, right? So it's really interesting to see who's buying these small cap, or not small cap, but the smallest, largest companies in the country.
Right.
And so I've been watching this and saying, all right, who's buying these guys? If this pulls back, I would assume then to buy it, just because they're not. The fact that they topped out right here, and if they bring it back down again, this is them just kind of signaling and saying, yeah, we're going to push this back up. So it's something that I'm looking to. And the area that I'm looking for the pullback is about midpoint where the 50 period moving averages come down a little bit more. Yeah, but right there, where like the 50 and 100 period moving average are sitting together. And so I would expect it to pull back to there, and then see it go up. So it's one of those ones that I'm looking at.
And I do have, I don't know how the ETFs do it. Clearly, it's not price for price. The Russell 2000 tokenized by Ondo is at $175. And the index price is at 2,000 and something. So not the same. So I need to look into the Ondo NVIDIA price was the same, but the Russell index price is not. Maybe maybe they might do indexes differently, or maybe one token is 1/11th of an index price or something. I don't know. Things to do for research, things to learn. Pedro, one of the things I mentioned earlier before you came on, oh, by the way, did your screen come back? No, not yet. Mentioning the great graphics machine you're looking at here is one of the reasons why I suddenly foisted it on everybody, because I have been working on the TradeWave app behind the scenes. And the app, this is actually part of that. This is like the front end pricing part of it. I redid and got it working properly. And so I said, if I've got it working properly, the old great graphics machine stuff with some software for the Vimeo subscription that I used to have, but I decided to not pay for Vimeo anymore because the same features I was paying Vimeo to do are free on Rumble. So done with them, but I also lose one of my live streaming software packages, which did the great graphics machine. So I'm like, wait a minute, if I'm developing the app for TradeWave, I can just use that for our show. And so that's what this is, because on the app, people will be able to put in any symbol they want for a certain amount of things, not everything yet. but any crypto one and all the basics, commodities and futures, and pull up the pertinent information for it. So that's how I ended up with it on the show over here. So hopefully now that I got that set, it'll cue me to work on the rest of the app and get it out.
Good. Looking forward to it. So that start generating some income off the show, and then start having a little fun.
I don't know if you can probably hear that, but Mrs. Striking has returned.
Oh, good.
He's talking to someone. I hear her saying something. Tom's still on the show. She's whispering. It's all right there, babe. No problem.
It's all good. Let's go ahead and close up because I know that you need to do some stuff with her. Some stuff's just popped up on my end too. And the fact that I got to go through and reset my router to get this thing up and running because I'm looking at other data and need to have come in. And looking forward to talk about my adventures that I have been working on, and looking forward to talking about them down the road here.
That's right. Pedro will be having some news soon here, but it'll be up to him to let us know when that is. Anyway, I'll turn that music off of your phone there for you, Pedro. But the outro music is playing. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching the show today. We really appreciate it. A little light on the viewership today, but did get to read 2 ads. We did have someone watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all the platforms people watch us on today. So that's what we ask you for, your eyeballs and your time. Thanks a lot, BT. One last check in BTC. What's it doing, ladies and gentlemen? Is it tanking? Is it coming back? Still down 2.5% today. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we'll be here tomorrow, Friday, 12:05, 12:15, somewhere in there. So be here tomorrow. On behalf of Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst, my name is Striking, otherwise known as Tom here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. There you go.